So today's reading is just going to be quite short. It's just an extract from a fabulous book called Yoga, the Essence of Life, and it was written about 15 years ago and has a compilation of about 10 or so experienced yogis who have been interviewed for the book. But at the start of the book, it just gives a really great outline of the history of yoga and philosophy. And there's a really great sort of passage here that just summarizes Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the 8 limbs, quite nicely. And I thought that might take advantage of the afternoon sun in the room and just read a few paragraphs from the end of this chapter. So it's talking about the 8 limbs of yoga, as according to Patanjali from the Yoga Sutras, which were written around about 200 BC. So pretty old text, and this is just a interpretation of his sutras here. So we're talking about the first 2 limbs are Yama and Niyama, the twin angels that could be called high thinking and simple living. Each contains a subset of 5 vows, which ensure that your behaviour, speech and thought mirror your intent. The next 2 limbs are asana and pranayama, the practice of physical postures, which is quite commonly known in the Western world, and breathing exercises respectively, which work on the physical body to make it fitter and more vital. They also work on the mental body to refine concentration and the energetic body to purify. The regular practice of asana and pranayama can begin to reveal the tendencies of the mind towards doubt, fear, anger, and other afflictive emotions, exposing the ego. The ego aspect of the mind is the gatekeeper between the lower mind and the self. The final 4 limbs concern the inner practice of meditation: pratyahara, turning the senses inwards; dharana, focusing on the mind one-pointedly; dhyana, which is meditation on that one's point of focus; and samadhi, blissful absorption in the object of focus. These 4 combine to bring one wholly into the present moment, where no memory of the past or thought of the future can splinter one's concentration. In living only in that moment, the now, the yogi appreciates life for just what it is and all that it is. They cease to expect it to be something that their ego self craves or loathes. In this way, life becomes joyous and the practices deeply nurturing. To know the self, to see life from an expansive, godlike perspective, is to be free from the desires of the ego mind, the limitations of the separate self, and the suffering that both of these incur. This freedom, or moksha, returns one to a state of interconnectedness with all beings, to the blissful awareness that the essence within one is the essence within all. In the words of leading Eastern scholar Barbara Stoller Miller, author of Yoga, Discipline of Freedom, an interpretation of the Yoga Sutras, the eventual goal of yoga is finally to lay bare our true human identity. As such, yoga is a spiritual endeavour. It is a backpack like any other that carries us along the pathway, home to the self. I hope you enjoy that today. And I'm not sure what the next one's going to be. We'll have to wait and see. So thanks for listening, and hopefully you learned something or enjoyed what Yoga, the Essence of Life, had to share. Thank you.